Today we are going to work on a project. Not this project. I'm just using it as a way to keep my hands busy while I talk to you in this introduction. Sitting with nothing in my hands makes me nervous, which is partly why I love spinning and knitting. Keeps my hands busy, helps me focus. So focus. Our project today is going to be knitting a frog as the channel mascot. Because what would be the point of a cute animal name without a cute animal to be the logo, mascot, sit in the background of other projects? So come with me and we shall get knitting. I did not spin this, but it was given to me. I thought that would be a good project to use it up. And then I have an assortment of cream colors for the belly of the frog that we're just gonna kind of see which might work. Well, that's definitely too thick. This is some wonky, I don't even know. I think it might have been some leftover yarn that I had spun up for some art yarn, so it was extra energized, and it's probably a little too thick for this. I'm thinking whatever this is, I think is probably going to be the closest in weight. Let's go cake up our green yarn so we can get started. The pattern I ended up choosing after scrolling through Ravelry, there were many cute frog patterns, but the one I liked the best were the patterns by Garland, also known as DotpebblesKnit. She has several different frog patterns. I chose the frog and toad pattern because it also includes pattern for some pants and overalls and a sweater, because I would like to make some clothes for the frog. The frog and toad pattern called for sport weight yarn knit on size 0 needles. Some of the other frog patterns that are very similar visually, they use different weight yarns. So the yarn I have for this project is probably a DK weight, so I am knitting this with size 4 needles. Now we've got the body finished. I am going to rinse this before I start sewing it up because that green yarn is making my face really itchy, and I'm hoping that giving it a wash is going to help that. So now we're on to the seaming. I am using a mattress stitch and just using the long tails that I left to seam up the frog. And I think that washing really did help that green yarn not bother me so much. So now I really regret that I didn't think of washing it before I skated up, and I probably am far too lazy to put it back into a skein, wash it, and then cake it up, but oh well. we have our frog all seamed up, so we can go ahead and stuff it. I'm just using waste wool left over from processing some wool that I spun. I think this I dyed with food coloring. Anyways, it's yellow, which I suppose might show through a bit. Here we are ready to attach the final leg. So the legs I knitted up while I was at the Red Alder Fiber Retreat in Tacoma, Washington for the weekend. I didn't film it because I was relaxing with friends and didn't really want to get out my camera. So I got those all knitted up, and I decided the pattern says to use wire, to put wire in the legs and arms for posability. I decided to go with some pipe cleaners. So they also have wire, and I had some in green and white just to see how that would work. I'm hoping maybe the pipe cleaner will not poke through as much. I've made some crocheted amigurumi with wire in them, and I always had the problem with it poking through. So I wanted to see how the pipe cleaners would work for this. Followed the directions in the pattern for how to put the wire through and attach the arms and legs. Alrighty, we've got Froggy all finished up. She's got all her limbs. So now we need to choose some eyes. I'm looking through my button stash, trying to pick out which ones I think are going to look the best. Miss Froggy is now completed, and she has her eyes. We are going to have to wait for the final reveal to see what she looks like. So now we are making her some clothes. I decided to make her a little pinafore dress out of some yarn I had spun a while ago. Frog and Toad pattern includes a pattern for, I think she calls them dungarees. I would say they're overalls. So I started with that, and I kept the waistband and the straps the same. And then instead of from the waistband down making the pants, I just added increases to make kind of an A-line, sort of an A-line skirt. And then here what I'm knitting now is I'm doing a knitted picot bind off around the bottom of the skirt. here we are on a windy late February day. I would like to introduce you to Miss Gertrude. I'm super happy with how she turned out. Little patches. Super adorable. Thanks for watching. See you next time.